Hello everyone, this is Old School from WhatTheBuck.net, coming to you live from Valrico, Florida. This week we've got the Dallas Cowboys coming to town. I want to first apologize, especially to Buccaneers 61-92. I wasn't able to do a review game for the Seahawks for a couple of reasons, not the least of which being that game was really friggin' boring. We tried to make it as interesting as possible when we did the review on Monday Night Show, but to be honest, we just kind of beat the hell out of these guys. The Seahawks are particularly bad. We didn't do anything particularly exciting other than the fact that Garcia had probably the best day he's had in quite some time. But, all in all, it just wasn't that exciting. So, apologies for no review. But this is the preview for the Cowboys game. And this game, going into the season, looked like it was going to be a huge matchup for us. If things were going well for us, this was going to be a good time for us to test to see where we actually stood in comparison to the other powerhouses in the NFC. And the Cowboys at the beginning of the year looked like they were going to be one of those powerhouses. Now, injuries have taken effect, and they are no longer the team that they were at the beginning of the year. Romo out. Brad Johnson in. We all know Brad Johnson. He actually led us to a Super Bowl. He is an effective, intelligent quarterback, but he is way on the back end of his career. Did not look particularly good last week. He's going to be facing a defense in the Buccaneers that is playing probably the best ball we've played in a long time now. The flip to this is we've got to get some pressure on Brad. We got to get into him. He was sacked last week. He threw some picks against the Rams, who are just absolutely horrible. So he's going to be susceptible. Now, when you get past the quarterback position, they've got an injury in the running back core as well. Felix Jones, their rookie, has been phenomenal in special teams and as a spell for Marion the Barbarian. They don't have Felix this week. They're going to have Marion the Barbarian taking the lead. He had 18 carries for 100 yards last week against the Rams in a losing effort. He also, I believe, had a touchdown. There's no doubt this man can run the ball. The trick is we've got to stop him from running the ball. The Bucs have held every runner to under 100 yards. We haven't given up a rushing touchdown, and that's what we got to do. Job number one, stop Marion. If Brad Johnson's going to beat us by throwing over the top, then by God, they deserve to win. Now, on the receiver side, this is where you usually think about Dallas, right? With T.O. out there. They just signed Roy Williams, not Roy Williams, the other Roy Williams. The first Roy Williams, the safety for the Cowboys, is out, broken arm. Their secondary is ravaged, but Roy Williams, the receiver, comes in and gives them a 1-2 punch on the outside. They've also got Jason Witten, probably one of the best tight ends in the league. The question is going to be, can Brad Johnson actually get the ball to these receivers? Now, Sterling Sharp on Playbook brought up an interesting point about the way the Bucs generally play off of receivers, and this gives these big receivers a chance to get free releases, and it opens up the slant routes, it opens up the quick screens for these guys who can usually get a lot of yards after catch. So we're going to be particularly aware of that when we face the Cowboys this week. I'm most concerned, to be honest, about Jason Witten. Scheffler out in Denver absolutely ate our lunch, and Witten does not drop the ball. So if Brad's able to check down to Jason Witten, he could use him to move the chains, get the Cowboys down the field, and then it's a battle of red zones. And we've been doing well in that, but to be honest, I'd rather the Cowboys not see our side of the field for quite some time. The beginning of the year, this offensive line looked like it might be one of the best I've ever seen. Tony Romo literally could have been texting Jessica Simpson in the backfield before he made his throws. Now, they did not look quite as strong with Brad Johnson back there, and we're going to need that defensive line to stop just getting pressures. We've been held 2 weeks now without a sack. We're getting plenty of pressure, but no sacks. We're going to need to change that. Probably expect to see a little bit more blitzing. Monty Kiffin, he knows Brad's smart. Brad knows our defense. He's not going to be fooled the way some of these younger quarterbacks are fooled. But bringing in Rondé or P-Buck, who started to do a good job on these corner blitzes as well off the edge, Brad is going to be in the pocket. We know exactly where he's going to be. They're not going to move the pocket. He's not going to roll out. He's not going to scramble. He's not going to buy time with his feet. We got to pin our ears back and get to old boy. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, there's a gentleman named DeMarcus Ware who is just an animal. They run a 3-4. This guy has got 9 sacks on his own. Our whole defense has 11. This is something we've definitely got to watch out for. Jeff Garcia does buy us some time with his feet, but we're going to have to give him some time. The offensive line is going to have to step up. We got a chance to run over and see Davin over in Pinellas Park the other day. Shout out to Davin Joseph. Hopefully you and your boy Trueblood on the right side will hold things down. Hopefully Penn and Sears on the left side will do their job, and Fain will keep making the right calls. The big problem that I think the Cowboys had last week against the Rams was that Zach Thomas and Brady James, the defense in general, but those two specifically, were flowing too hard and over pursuing the play, allowing Steven Jackson to make one cut on a cutback and see a lot of green field. And Steven Jackson took advantage of it to the tune of about 160 yards and 3 touchdowns. He rung them up pretty good. They're a smart defense, so I don't know that they're going to continue to make those same mistakes. Now, the front 7 on the Cowboys are having to make up a lot for this secondary that has just been decimated with injuries and suspensions. Pac-Man Jones, Roy Williams, Anthony Henry's just slow. It's not that he's hurt. And Terrence Newman, all out. Right, so we'll see Mike Williams, USF product. Hell, I don't even know their safeties are. I got a depth chart here somewhere, but that secondary is extremely susceptible. Especially Anthony Henry. Look for Antonio Bryant matched up over there to have an opportunity to get long, the same way he did this past week with Seattle. I know that that's not going to be our goal, to go out there and try and light them up. We're going to try and impose our will on that defense, because with that 3-4 defense, you want to run at you want to run at that speed and try and pound them into submission. So, keys to the game: stop Marion Barber, stop DeMarcus Ware, and then the last key to the game that I had was we got to get to Brad Johnson. We got to right this ship on the sacks tip and kind of turn this thing around. Expect to see Gaines Adams and Greg White potentially have a good game. Now, in some ways more interesting than that, the guards on the Cowboys are both looking a little slow. There's some injury issues there. They were getting eaten up pretty good by the inside tackles by the Rams. Look for Jovan Hay, Jimmy Wilkerson to potentially be able to make some noise there if they can use some of their speed moves. So, with regards to MVPs and predictions, I expect to see Jeff Garcia have another big game. I think he's going to be our offensive MVP. I think Barrett Ruud's going to be the guy with regards to stopping Marion Barber, making that initial contact, letting the guys gang tackle him and bring him down. I see the Bucs taking this one 24-10 in Dallas and coming back with another victory. So, thanks for listening. This is Old School from whatthebuck.net. You can catch our show Mondays and Thursdays, 7 o'clock at www.whatthebuck.net. And tomorrow I'm going to try my hand at play-by-play. So if you want to come over and listen to play-by-play, hang out in the chat room with some folks that are watching the game. Some of you folks that tune in aren't in the States, can't get the game. I'll do my best. I've never done it. I'm certainly no Gene Deckeroff, but I'll give it a shot. So we'll be there about a half hour before the game tomorrow at www.whatthebuck.net. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you later.